Mountains appear solid. They appear permanent, immovable, the very definition of what does not change. But science has spent decades demonstrating that this solidity is, in many cases, an illusion. Inside some of the most famous mountains in the world, hidden from view but detectable with the right tools, exist cavities of colossal dimensions, magma chambers that pulse beneath volcanoes, caverns that extend for kilometers inside limestone massifs, lava tubes that pierce entire mountains, and structural voids that scientists have detected using techniques that seem taken from science fiction but are completely real. When the instruments point at those mountains and the data returns, what it reveals defies everything the exterior view suggests. Leave your like, subscribe, and share. Let's begin. The most powerful technique for detecting what is inside a mountain without drilling or excavating is muography, also known as muon tomography. Muons are subatomic particles produced naturally when cosmic rays from space collide with the Earth's atmosphere. They are highly penetrating, capable of passing through hundreds of meters of rock, and when they do so, they are slightly absorbed or deflected by the matter they pass through. If a muon detector is placed on the other side of a mountain or inside it, the pattern of muons that reaches the detector reflects the density of the material they have passed through. Where there is dense rock, fewer muons arrive. Where there is an empty cavity, more arrive. The result is an image of the internal structure of the mountain comparable in principle to a medical X-ray, but on a scale of hundreds of meters. The most spectacular application of muography in recent years was the study of the Giza pyramids in Egypt, carried out within the framework of the Scan Pyramids Project, an international initiative coordinated by the HIP Institute of Paris and the Cairo Faculty of Engineering. Between 2015 and 2017, teams of researchers from France, Japan, and Canada installed muon detectors inside and around the Great Pyramid of Khufu and other pyramids of the complex. The results, published in the journal Nature in November of 2017, were extraordinary. The detectors revealed the existence of a large-dimensioned cavity inside the Great Pyramid, above the Grand Gallery, which did not correspond to any known chamber in the interior architecture of the monument. The cavity, which researchers provisionally called the Big Void, has at least 30 meters in length and its transverse dimensions are still uncertain. Its orientation is parallel to the Grand Gallery, the impressive 47-meter inclined hall that leads to the King's Chamber. It is not known whether the cavity is a hall, a corridor, a gallery, or a combination of several spaces. It is not known whether it has smooth or rough walls, nor whether it contains objects. And it is not known with certainty for what it was built, although archaeologists have proposed several hypotheses. It could be an undiscovered funerary chamber, a structural relieving space to ease the weight on the lower chambers, or even the result of an internal construction ramp that was sealed when the pyramid was completed. What is certain is that the Great Pyramid of Khufu, built approximately 4,500 years ago during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu of the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom, is a structure more complex than any known plan had suggested. The researchers of the Scan Pyramids project continued their work with new generation muon detectors and other non-invasive methods, including infrared thermography and ground-penetrating radar, and in 2023 published new results that refined the image of the Great Cavity and suggested the possible existence of an additional corridor at the front of the pyramid, near the original entrance. A team from the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities effectively confirmed the existence of that corridor by introducing a small endoscopic camera through a joint between stone blocks, finding a passage of approximately 9 meters in length and 2 meters in width filled with sand, whose function remains under study. Volcanoes are perhaps the mountains whose interior has been most intensively studied using scanning techniques, both for scientific reasons and for the practical urgency of predicting eruptions. Mount Etna in Sicily is the highest active volcano in Europe at 3,357 meters and also one of the most monitored in the world. A network of seismographs, gravimeters, GPS devices, inclinometers, and gas stations installed on its slopes by the National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology of Italy generates continuous data that allows scientists to build detailed models of what is happening inside the volcano. Those models have revealed a system of conduits and magma chambers of great complexity, with reservoirs at different depths connected by a network of dikes and sills, intrusions of igneous rock that pierce the interior structure of the volcano like veins in a living body. Leave your like, subscribe, and share. In Japan, muography has been applied to Mount Asama, an active volcano on the island of Honshu that has had significant eruptions in 1783, 1938, and 2009. The muography experiments carried out by the group of Professor Hiroyuki Tanaka of the University of Tokyo, a world pioneer in the application of this technique to volcanoes, produced images of the central conduit of Asama with unprecedented resolution, showing density variations that researchers interpreted as pockets of partially degassed magma and zones of denser rock solidified in previous eruptions. The ability to visualize those changes in real time has enormous potential for eruption prediction, because the movements of magma within the conduit are detectable days or weeks before they cause a visible eruption. On the American continent, studies of seismic tomography, a different technique that uses seismic waves instead of muons to build images of the interior of the Earth, have revealed structures of dimensions that far exceed any individual cavity. Beneath Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, seismic studies carried out by researchers from the University of Utah have identified not one but two superimposed magma reservoirs beneath the surface. The upper reservoir, shallower, extends over an estimated volume of between 4,000 and 10,000 cubic kilometers and is located at between 5 and 17 kilometers depth. The lower reservoir, deeper and of more fluid consistency, is even larger, with an estimated volume of between 11,000 and 46,000 cubic kilometers, and is situated between 20 and 50 kilometers below the surface. Together, they constitute the magmatic system of one of the largest volcanic calderas in the world. More modest in scale but equally surprising was the discovery, announced in 2022, of a cavern of extraordinary proportions inside Montebello, in the Maritime Alps on the border between Italy and France. A team of speleologists from the Gruppo Speleologico Piemontese, exploring known fissures at the base of the massif, found a gallery that opened into a chamber of dimensions that the explorers described as unexpectedly large for a mountain of that region, more than 200 meters in length, 80 meters in width, and ceilings of up to 60 meters in height at some points. The cavern, formed in marble by the dissolution of calcium carbonate over millions of years, contained stalactite and stalagmite formations in perfect state of conservation and a subterranean lake of crystal-clear water at its deepest end. Montebello is also known for the tens of thousands of prehistoric rock engravings that cover the rocks of its slopes, some of them dated to the Chalcolithic, between 3,500 and 2000 before Christ. Archaeologists have speculated about whether the caves of the region could have played a role in the ritual practices of the peoples who produced those engravings, following the same pattern of ritual use of underground space that has been documented in many other prehistoric cultures. The discovery of the new cavern adds an additional dimension to that debate. In China, the Miao Room cave system in Guizhou province contains the largest underground chamber in the world by volume. The chamber, known as the Red Mountain Chamber, is 380 meters in length, 160 meters in width, and 260 meters in height at its highest point, with a total volume of approximately 10.78 million cubic meters. An entire forest fits comfortably inside it. Trees of up to 40 meters in height grow on the floor of the cavern, lit by the light entering through an opening in the vault, and in that underground forest live birds, insects, and small mammals. The cavern was documented in detail by speleologists from the British Cave Research Association in collaboration with Chinese authorities in a series of expeditions between 2013 and 2016. The interior mountain scanning techniques have also found applications in mining archaeology. In the Lauragais Massif in southern France, ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography have revealed extensive networks of mineral extraction galleries from the Roman era, some of them several kilometers in length, which overlap with earlier Bronze Age workings. These networks, invisible from the surface, represent evidence of a far more intensive and organized mining activity than the written historical records had indicated, and their study has changed researchers' understanding of the scale of metal production in Roman Gaul. What all these investigations have in common is the demonstration that the interior of mountains, like the bottom of the oceans or the subsoil of ancient cities, is a territory that humanity has barely begun to explore. For millennia, mountains were perceived as insurmountable barriers, natural frontiers that divided cultures, mythical abodes of gods and spirits, and essential sources of resources such as minerals and water. Their imposing exterior appearance suggested a solid, inert, and static mass, However, modern science has radically changed this perspective. Now, sophisticated instruments are capable of scanning and passing through these millennial structures through the use of subatomic particles such as muons in muography and powerful seismic waves. Researchers are unveiling what the exterior view conceals. What these studies reveal is not that solid and inert mass that was presumed, but complex, living and dynamic structures. The interior of mountains is full of hidden voids, interconnected cavities, fluids in motion, and geological secrets that are completely transforming our understanding of how the planet we live on is made and how it works. This exploration of the mountain interior opens a new era of geophysical discoveries. Leave your like, subscribe, and share. Until next time.